22 years, he has previously served in Kalik Consultants Limited, Tata Autocomp Systems Limited, Persistence Systems Limited, and Tech Mahindra Limited. We welcome you all, sir. I request Praveen Soni ji to please give his opening remarks.
Good evening, friends. Good evening, all the participants, those who are present in person and those who are attending this program in virtual basis. This is the last technical session of the day for this 22nd National PCS Conference. The topic is for artificial intelligence and how it's going to help the company secretary professionals to big extent to take the profession at the next level. Friends, as we know that this artificial intelligence, it's actually an intelligence which is artificial, not natural or not made by God. And they cannot replace the professionals or the intelligence level that our professionals do have. But it's going to help or bring innovation, a movement to a big extent, because nowadays the way the usage has been increased of using artificial intelligence by various corporates, various banking sector, insurance companies, it's going to help them a lot, and various men's assignment tasks has been done by the only single machine. It's saving the time, energy and cost as far as the AI is used properly. If we see the way forward for the ICSI, how we can take this ahead, yes, the development of artificial intelligence in the field of, let's say, IoT or robotics is growing such as a pace that almost all the human aspects will be affected by it. The organization structures will go flat, and the skill-based employment consisting of persons mainly having the ability to handle and operate the AI gadgets will increase. The Institute of Company Secretaries of India is preparing the company secretaries and its members to embrace the artificial intelligence uses, the opportunities that are opened up for the practicing company secretaries on demand, and the automation of certain functions. The thinking with the innovative and mind is essential actually so that a curve in the style of functioning can be established. The automation of repetitive and administrative tasks would enable the company secretaries to focus more time on the more complex tasks rather than of the routine nature, which can be functioned and completed by the AI. And the attitude toward the development of AI ought to be positive. The company secretaries essentially need to understand and appreciate the impact which AI is likely to have on the profession, the business and the stakeholders that are already started using the AI based on the tools in some of the areas as a part of their business activities. Friends, the business world will soon start expecting professionals like us for being used as AI-based tools. And there are plenty of startups which have already started and jumped into this space. To imagine and explore the divine into the areas where the company secretaries may consider deployment of artificial intelligence. And in the same manner, ICSI has used a lot and adopted the technology in terms of its various operations, like an establishment of the placement portal in 2019 under the presidentship of Mr. Pandeyji when I was a placement chairman, and at the same time the opening of the e-library, e-MSOP, computer-based education program, examinations on virtual basis, e-chartered secretary, then Smash portal that smashes student and members application software hosting program. These all things are happening through the using of technology. I can't say that it is through the app or through the AI base, but yes, we have started a big amount into technology. If I talk about the AI, friends, I would tell you that first time we have coming up with the AI initiative and we are working on it. Almost some major part of it has been done. And we are coming up with the chatbots. That is, you must have seen the chatbot that are coming into the insurance company or the banking website. When you open it up, a chat box, artificial person will come out that say, may I help you? So that kind of chatbot will be there in some moment of some months, I could say, because the process is very big. And that will help the members and students to have a very interactive interaction, and it will provide the required information at a very less amount of time without any further cost or discussions. So that will be a best use of artificial intelligence by the institute. I am just after this taking over to the speaker of the session, and I invite the speaker for the session, Mr. Vivek Kumar, Deputy Director MCA, who is going to address on the special education e-education session to be taken up by the ministry. So I welcome Mr. Vivek on behalf of the institute, and I request you to kindly please start with your address. Thank you so much.
Good evening to everyone. I hope I am audible to everyone. So today I am
Yes.
talking about the MCA 21 portal, its development, what we foresee in the version 3 of the MCA 21 portal, and the E-Adjudication Module. So a lot of you may already know that MCA 21 portal was launched in 2006 with the vision to digitize all the corporate filing processes. I'm sorry, I can hear my echo.
Sir, you are very well audible, sir.
Yeah, I can hear my echo, so I'm reducing the sound of my system. I'll continue. Just give me a minute. Yeah, so as I was saying that we started in 2006 with MCA 21 portal version 1, and the idea was at that particular time, we had our physical filing processes and all the systems around were, developed around physical filing of all these documents. The stakeholder will come physically and submit. They make their payments physically, and we wanted to leverage technology to ease that burden, to reduce those compliance burden, and with that vision in mind, we started in 2006 with TCS as our service provider, and therein we replicated all these physical processes of filing into the digital mode. So all these filings and the payment that were earlier done in a physical mode will now to be done in a digital mode. The record keeping of all these filings were also to be moved to a digital medium. There was automation in internal processes. The whole database as well as the record room was digitized, and the e-payment channels were introduced in tune with the times. So the nationwide rollout of version 1 started in 30th July 2006, and then e-filing, it started from July onwards. Then during the version 1 itself, we had the LLP Act implementation, which was initially started as a separate filing process and later on integrated with MCA 21 filing. So, all these, the changes in the version 1, what it helped reduce the stakeholder burden, not only in terms of the cost, but in terms of the convenience as well. Uh, as I've already stated in earlier discussions, it was very common to have lines running into kilometers during the peak filing periods, pre MCA 21 portal. However, that change, the change with the version 1 was that, the stakeholder could file the form at the convenience of their house or their office, and the form will be submitted. There was no need to have any physical interaction with respect to the submission of the form itself was concerned. This, this change in the filing processes, it was recognized across the government system, and we were awarded, the Data Quest Pathbreaker Award in 2006 and 2007. We got the National E-Governance Award for Business Process Reengineering in 2007. We also got the Prime Minister's Award for Excellence in Public Administration. Now, once we had the system in place, we had digitized all these records and the filing processes, we moved to the version 2 with Infosys as our service provider. So whatever, the learnings that we had with version 1, we wanted to incorporate those and reduce, all these weaknesses that were there in version 1. So although version 1 was, a replication of the physical process into digital mode, with V2, we focus towards, assisting, the technology assisting us in reducing those compliances further. For example, we started with our straight through process forms. So STP forms would mean that as soon as the stakeholder has filed a form, that form will be submitted and will be taken on record immediately. There was no intervention from the government authorities, and there was no delay in acceptance of the form. So that resulted, in quick disposal of the forms. The offices were also declogged, so the officers could, do the qualitative works. Along with that, we made some major changes in version 2. We started with our CRC operations that, improved the ease of doing business through the incorporation and the name reservation, re-engineering. Then we also did the cleaning of registry through the strike off action, then the disqualifications of the directors. We further, started with the KYC operations for directors and the company KYC. So all these were focused towards cleaning of the registry and to have a consistent database with us that we can use, for data analytics later on. And I'll be talking about it when I'll be talking about V3. And so with that in mind, we started with our version 3, thought process of what we want our version 3 to be. So it was our understanding that in version 2, we had done a lot of changes that made it easy for the stakeholders to file these forms. Now we wanted to leverage the technology, especially the latest tools that are available like AI and ML, to further drive these innovations, these changes that can assist the stakeholders. One of the major changes that we are going to incorporate will be the E-Adjudication Module. Now, adjudication process, as is driven through the Section 454 of the Companies Act, and currently it's in a physical mode. The stakeholder will get a notice from the regulator, and the person will be coming physically there to attend the meetings, and based on the orders, the submission of the fees will be done through MCA 21 portal. Now we want to digitize this process end to end digital. By that I mean that the right from the notice to the order to the submission of the fee as well as the hearing, all this can take place through online medium, so that there is no interface and the boundaries, that the physical boundaries will no more be a barrier. So, e-appointments, e-hearing, as well as notices, all these will be done through an online mode. Another important change, a new module that we are adding in version 3 will be the compliance management module. So when I talk in terms of, professionals like CS, how, it will affect. So compliance management system, what it will do is, it will do its analytics on the data that is available with MCA. Not only just with MCA, but with the different regulators that we have an MOU with. We will be we will be getting data from them, and we will be doing our analytics. And based on those analytics, there will be flags generated. We will have auto flagging, we will have auto notice sending mechanism as well. And what it will do is, a lot of these simple technical violations, they will be, identified by the system itself. And the notices and other proceedings can be done through the system itself. So there will be a lot more, this compliance management work will increase significantly with the rollout of version 3. Along with that, we will also have an early warning, signal mechanism also that will use the AI technique to constantly, develop an algorithm to identify these flags, these companies, and the directors or KMPs who the system thinks that they can, do some corporate violations, some major significant corporate violations, and based on that, we can take our actions. Then another new module that we will be launching with version 3 will be the E-Consultation Module. Now, what it envisages is that whenever Ministry of Corporate Affairs is planning to, table a bill in the Parliament, we will have an online consultation through this platform. And what it will do is it will use the latest language processing engines, the AI ML tools that are available right now, to make a gist of all the suggestions that are there that have been submitted by the stakeholders. So it will be able to analyze these comments and these feedbacks that are submitted, filtered through the geographies, filtered through professions, and make a gist of the suitability of these amendments in view of the general public, whether the public is in agreement with the changes, whether it wants some modifications or not. So there'll be a very powerful dashboard available with the policymakers to make sense of whatever feedback is being given by the stakeholders. It will not only reduce the manual activity that was currently done by the policymakers by separately reading all the mails, even the duplicate mails as well, and clubbing them together to making all these reports for analysis. So all these will be done by the system, and the work left with the policymaker will be to decide and to take note of whatever is available in the system. And we will be using AI for analysis of this data. The language processing engine will be developed and used in this. So we hope that going forward, the policy making will have a positive effect through this e-consultation module. This module we've already launched and it is already running on the system. Ebook module is we used to have a ebook in version 2 also, and we've upgraded this to include all the acts that are administered by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. So other than the addition of different acts, we are planning to have more features like the timeline for Companies Act and for other acts as well. So you can go through the different time zones and what are the changes made through time to make a comparative analysis of all the developments and the changes in the acts. Now we've also revamped our website, the MCA website, to make to use the latest UI UX techniques for enhanced user experience. You can see the card layouts there, use of colors to make readability much more better. We are using a dark theme as well for people who want to utilize that for the for less strain on their eyes. Those who are doing the filings 24 hours 7, I think that will be a good feature to have. Then the data dissemination part also we will be strengthening, but this part will be at the back end. So the stakeholders, not a lot of stakeholders will be affected by this, but overall we are making a lot of changes in the system so that data dissemination is improved. Not only the quality, but the dissemination and the way we do it and the quick turnaround time, that will also be improved going ahead. So with respect to version 3, I also wanted to add that learning from the experience of version 2, we have developed a staggered approach towards rollout of version 3. So phase 1 of MCA 21 version 3 has already been launched in the month of May 2021 this year itself. And we've launched a new website. We've launched the e-consultation module and the ebook module in May this year itself. And those changes the users can see, and they can give their feedbacks on them. So the remaining these changes, we are planning to roll them out in a staggered manner, and hopefully they should be done very soon. You should be able to see the changes in the filing system also. Also, in addition to these, we are making some changes to the filing system also. So as you might know already, that some of our forms are web-based forms, like the Spice Plus form is currently a web-based form. The users will be feeding their data, the information on the website itself, and based on the the whatever the checks done by the system itself, a PDF will be generated by the stakeholder, and that PDF along with the DAC is then submitted as a filing. So what we plan to do in version 3, we will make all these forms that are there in MCA as a web-based form. So it will assist in a better and quicker validation. The pre-checks and all these pre-scrutinies will be done in real time, so that the stakeholder convenience is kept in the mind while we are filing all these forms. So I hope that the stakeholder user experience will be enhanced through these changes. Now, coming to the e-adjudication. As you already know that Section 454, along with Companies Adjudication of Penalties Rule 2014, it calls for adjudication of certain violations. With the drive of MCA towards decriminalization of offenses, we are moving towards more and more offenses coming into the proceedings under adjudication. And all these proceedings, they have been going on for last around 2-3 years. They are being done physically. So when a violation is found out, the regulator sends a notice to the stakeholder, and based on the replies received or not, the hearing is conducted physically, and the document submission is done in a physical mode, and the order is made and shared with the stakeholder, and then the filing is done through MCA 21 system. Now this system has been going on for last 2-3 years, and we wanted to make some changes, and this is especially relevant in context of the COVID scenario that is there, when physically moving to a particular location might be difficult. However, the violations, they might still continue. So with that in mind, we thought of introducing the E-Adjudication module. So E-Adjudication module will redefine the way of conducting adjudication proceedings in government sector by providing end-to-end digitization of the process. It is envisaged to eliminate the traditional physical and paper-based proceedings and will facilitate the stakeholders through e-notices, e-reports, e-order. So all these, the generation of the reports, the notices, the order will be done by the system itself and mailed to the stakeholder. We will have a facility of e-appointment. The audio visual facility for conducting the meeting will also be there. And the record of all this will have an audit log to check all these adjudication proceedings later on. Now, in terms of benefit, I'll first start with the benefits for front office users. So, as I already stated, in the present scenario where COVID has been, ravaging across the boundaries and across geographies, we know how hard it is for stakeholders to travel to a particular location for these hearings. And this is specifically significant for somebody like a foreign director who might not be able to come to the country, and therefore they sometimes use the mechanism of a representative. However, they might want to personally attend it, but because of these restrictions, they cannot. So with that in mind, this e-adjudication module that intends to have an end-to-end digitization of this whole process, we plan to, reduce the barrier of the boundaries or the physical barrier that was there. So even the foreign directors from the convenience of his home can attend these hearings and can, provide his point of view on the allegations or on the, violations that have been found out. It will facilitate access to proceedings from any country, any place, anywhere. It is a front office user-oriented module and has been designed specifically to enhance stakeholder convenience and experience through facilities like obtaining online appointments, attending the meetings through digital platform, online submission of documents, and real-time status tracking through MCA 21 system. This will also, enhance the transparency in the proceedings, and, will have audit logs and the recordings of all the proceedings that are there. In terms of the back office users, the improvements will be that the digitization of alerts will happen. There will be preparation of reports by the system itself, no more a manual process. There will be issuance of notices and orders, etc. There will be improved timeline for disposal of the petitions, because all these manual work that were currently done by the field offices, they will now be taken care of by the system itself. So the field offices will be focused towards the proceedings and no more will be burdened by all these minor issues of physical processes. There will be enhanced transparency, so that will also benefit the back office users as well. Automated updation of company LLP master data based on the orders will also be there. So, from the perspective of the professionals, I wanted to say that, as we are going towards decriminalization of the Companies Act, more and more sections are coming under adjudication proceedings. And, as I've already stated, that there's a compliance management module that we plan to roll out with version 3. So that compliance management module will be able to identify all the violations that are there in Companies Act. Not only the violation, it will also generate the early warning systems. So, what we envisage that a lot of the cases will come under adjudication proceedings. And, that will be one area where the professionals will benefit through, using uh, those techniques, the e-adjudication, the technology that is there. And the functions of the professionals will move a lot towards all these tasks that are, mental in nature rather than clerical in nature. The filing itself, a lot of, because I've already stated that we are making some changes to the filing systems also. So all these will become easier. Uh, so more and more focus will be towards compliance management on net and not towards the filing. And that is the message that I want to give to the professionals that are hearing, this session. That going forward, we intend to have more, significant energy devoted to compliance management part of it, as we see that the system can take care of the filing processes. All these alerts and the pre-scrutinies and the checks can be done by the system itself, and the compliance management part, where the human mind is required, will be done by the system, by the officers as well as the professionals at their side. As was already mentioned during the address, that AI ML will help reduce all these smaller tasks, those manual tasks and repetitive tasks, and will help you focus towards tasks that require your mental attention, that require human interference. And that is the area where MCA will also be proceeding going ahead. So with that, I will be ending my session. Uh, Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for the session. The presentation is appreciable, especially in the current times, knowing about the developments in terms of AI and the steps of Government of India as a professional is all the more important for us. Thank you, sir. I request you to please switch on your video. And I also request the team to please display the Shaheed Ki Beti certificate for Shri Vivek Kumar. So this is a token of gratitude for your contribution.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vivekji, on behalf of the Institute for being there and guiding to the members about the new MCA portal version 3. And I hope this will really going to be benefit. We are thankful to you for sparing of your time. Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you.
Friends, now we are going ahead with the next part of the session, and we do have the two eminent speakers with us here. Gaurav and Kiran is there. And we are going to discuss on the rest of the part of the artificial intelligence, where and how it's going to impact to the institute and to the members and to our professionals. We have seen that the AI is going to make an house in the life of the people. Lots of startups and businesses already started taking use of it. I had heard that Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, says that we have deliberated or seen the digital transformation of 2 years in 2 months period only. Because the last 2 years, that way we have worked, I think 2030 years came in 2020 only. So that level of transformation on digital basis we have seen in every company, business, even I would say in our institute also. So that level of transformation we have seen. But yes, let's see how it's going to impact and how better use of AI can be taken up by our members for the professional development and to take this profession at the next level. So for this purpose, I invite my colleague Kiran Chetale. Kindly please be there and guide us on the next part of the session. Please. Presentation.
Thank you ICSI at the outset for this opportunity, and thank you everyone for being here, the members on the dais and of the dais and all friends. It's my pleasure to talk about the AI aspect, what we are talking about, or the digital aspects that pertain to or that impact or would impact our profession going forward. And I would say that I've already started impacting in a way, but again the magnitude and the frequency will differ in future. If we can go to the next slide. So I'll briefly talk about artificial intelligence and machine learning. Will ensure I don't make it too technical and boring. At the same time, it's important we understand some basics about, at least at a conceptual level, what it is about, what we are talking about when we keep discussing these jargons, so to say, technical jargons. Next slide. So what is all this AI, ML and all this being discussed? Probably you get to hear this either in newspapers, in media, in social media, in different formats, wherever you come across these terminologies. It's all about computer programming, frankly speaking, or in the simplest terms, in a different way, so that computer itself starts learning from the programming that we have done or we have fed in the computer. And the computer tries to utilize, analyze the whole learning to give back benefit to us. So that is what it is all about. Now these are different formats. So artificial intelligence, as someone mentioned already, I think the previous gentleman or Soniji mentioned, it's not about human intelligence, it's basically artificial intelligence, and that's where it's called all AI we have been talking about. It's a broader term. So within that we have got machine learning. So machine learning is typically used where machine learns from a repetitive behavior. So I'll give you an example. There was a scenario where I'll give you a very different scenario, so just to to absorb this concept. Let's say I download an app on my mobile phone, and then, as you know, the mobile app says that it needs certain permissions, access to my photographs, contact details, and we unfortunately have to say okay, yes, otherwise you can't download the application. I did that, for example. Assume I'm a bald person, and then I started getting ads. When I googled something else, I started getting ads on how to transplant hair, then some solution on hair growth, some new oil on hair growth. I started getting those ads. How? Because that ad, that mobile app which I had downloaded had access to my photographs. I, being a bald person, hypothetically, I am saying that application could recognize that this person would need probably access to certain solutions, treatments which will make hair grow. And that is how it starts popping up advertisements whenever I am looking into any YouTube or any of these internet, I try to search something. What is all this? And we have experienced this today. What is all this? This is all about intelligence. These applications are using intelligence. They look at the photo, they scan it, they realize this person needs something, and they start pushing those ads. I use Ola Cab, for example, another example. I use Ola Cab today to come here, and then it will start popping up next time onwards. Are you using Ola Cabs? Here is a scheme. Here is a free discount coupon if you have a discount code or something like that. Probably that app thinks I am a user of some Ola or similar. I am not kind of endorsing Ola here. My point is similar such methods or mediums. So that is what is being talked about as machine learning. So machine is learning here. And some time back again we learned about chatbots. So it is all about robotics. So robotics is nothing different than it's a programming where it's all learning from the messages or from the patterns, and which are typically repetitive patterns or structured patterns, and the program is learning from the experiences, trying to analyze historical data, making trend analysis on its own, and generating information. So I don't know if you have access, for example, a bank website. I've used a couple of them, and then on the whole of the website, on somewhere on the right side or left side, you will have this, hey, how can I help you? And then I say that I need a checkbook. I just type simple words, I need checkbook. You need to contact the nearest branch, or you can order your checkbook from the mobile app. So it is prompting answers. How can I order for a checkbook? These are standard ways of getting a checkbook, right? Or you can go to a website and click on certain services and then order for a checkbook. You don't have to necessarily go to a branch in person. So this is a chatbot. Now if I have a different question altogether, which is already not fed into the standard programming, then it will refer the matter to the call center person. So if I say that I had received a checkbook, but there was some problem on the printing and my name was not correctly printed, now this is going off bit. So therefore it will say, okay, we'll connect you with the call center person. But in the standard scenarios, these answers are being generated. Why? Because this is saving time, this is saving energy, this is giving quick and prompt and right to the point feedback to the customer. So this is the benefit of all this robotics and all this. Big data is nothing but it's about sets of large data which are analyzed for benefit, for use by organizations. And there are organizations today which use this data. We know how our mobile numbers and other contact details are shared. Probably you start getting contact details, you attend a program or an event or something, and you start getting some calls or something like that. Your number is already shared. And then there are entities which are just working on analyzing data and the back end or in the hindsight which we are not aware. So that's all about big data. Moving to the next slide, please. So how the industry is using this artificial intelligence? It's for different purposes, probably for programming and processing of data, predictive analysis. So as I said, depending on what this person is doing, so I'm using Google location, I have to put it on. If I'm accessing a cab, then I'm made to put it on. And because now Google knows where I'm traveling or which part of the world I'm already sitting or standing, and therefore Google tracks, I'm in Calcutta today, and Google may prompt me ads in Calcutta, you may want to book a hotel, here are the advertisements. So this is about predictive analysis. So they are predicting that I might need to stay here, and therefore I might need a cab, I might need a hotel or a restaurant, so those kind of things. Natural language processing is another beautiful application of artificial intelligence which is already in use. So there are facets of this. We get to see there, you must have seen some TV ads which say that I'm in a country where I don't understand, or even within India particularly we can say that I'm in southern part of the region, I'm a Maharashtrian, I don't understand the language. I just scan the board which is in the local language I don't understand, and the Google translates that message for me. It's all about natural language processing. It's all about you getting to know, getting to use and taking benefits of the technology for your day-to-day life, and likewise. So I'm trying to give all these day-to-day life examples, but precisely where I'm coming to is, we can go to the next slide, precisely where I'm coming to is, as company secretaries, we can try and get these applications for company secretaries in an automated format where that mobile application or an internet-based website or any other dimension of technology can help us automatically keep records, draft resolutions. So let's say I'm talking little, maybe which will sound little hypothetical or in the air. I draft an agenda for a board meeting. Now I'm talking something for practicing or even employed company secretaries. I draft an agenda for a board meeting. The system should pick up that these are the agenda items based on which automatically it should start drafting minutes in the back end. So one may say that, Kiran, this is not right because minutes are the record of the transactions, what actually happened in the meeting. How can you start to record that automatically even before the meeting? I'm not saying I'm signing on to those minutes yet. This is a draft. But I'm just getting a plain first draft of the document handy and ready. I can always make changes. There is a need for human intervention there to say, hey, 1 minute, in addition to this resolution, there is additional item that was discussed and that director particularly asked me to add in the resolution. So further is all that I'm adding something more. You can do that. Nobody is stopping you from doing that. But you are at least getting the first cut, the first draft of the minutes of the meeting, basis your agenda. Then I'm linking that minutes to further set of actions. That should generate automatically which all filings are required, and let's say there is a director getting appointed, the minutes draft is popping up, the resolution and all that, and the DR12 is automatically pre-filled with the name of the director that was picked up from the minutes automatically, the date of appointment was picked up. Maybe that system needed some additional information. So if you put those scanned documents in the system of director details, identification and all that, maybe DIN and all that, automatically system should pre-fill DR12. So is this not saving your time? Is this not simplifying, standardizing, streamlining your routine work? And that is how company secretaries are enabled further to focus on complex piece of work, which was, I think, got discussed in the previous session as well, very well. Moving on to the next slide. I think this is the last one. So I think this is the previous one. Go to the next. Okay, yeah, I think that's it. So this is what we are trying to say in a nutshell, how technology is going to drive and help profession of company secretaries as well. There are lawyers and other professions which have already started using technology in their day-to-day world, and I'm sure there are softwares that exist today for company secretaries as well. So it is for us to make use of those. It is for us to get more and more automatic or automated in terms of our experience and usage for our benefit. I'll just pause there and then we'll continue with questions later on. Soniji? Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kiran, for the insights on the AI and how we are using it. As you given the example, I remember one person was searching that how to settle the disputes with the wife or how to manage the wife. And tomorrow, whenever he opened the Google, he got the various options of the divorce lawyers. So that kind of things were automatically being served to the people. So that kind of life we are living, and that's the correct fact, I would say. I would request my co-speakers and second speaker Gaurav to kindly please enlighten on this topic, please. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for this opportunity. So, in fact, while my colleague Kiran was telling about artificial intelligence and Praveen was talking about Mr. Nadella, and in the previous session, we got to know, obviously, the best of the tech organization globally have Indians. I think we have learned how intelligent our mothers have been predicting out of the actions of our father, that where they are coming from and telling they are coming from a meeting, but their actions speak otherwise. So we have seen that intelligence, and we are converting that intelligence through the help of technology into artificial intelligence. So I think, so we know what the intelligence is all about and how to do data processing and fix that, and that's why we Indians have been heading all these big organizations. Now, this session, I think we are taking a step forward from our seniors or peers have been doing about the pain points or the bottlenecks about setting up a mega firms of company secretaries, right? And some of the nuances, some of the challenges that we faces. So being a company secretary, I started practicing 2002, 2003. Started something in technology in 2015 and realized certain pain areas, personally come across them and try to find a solution. Now, I'm sure there will be something more, but I could summarize few of them, which is on your screen. One is obviously we work on a limited area of practice, and this we have been talking about and discussing about over a period of years, trying to find a solution. But one of the core reasons might be limited skill set, which is available to ourselves, and limited exposure of young team members around different areas of practice. Like there was a discussion going about general practice or a niche area of practice. Thirdly is like obviously being professional organization, we conceptually do not see that we are funded by banks or we are not funded by investors to back up our initiatives like any other modern organizations or any traditional organization in terms of a manufacturing unit. We are purely service based entity, and then to an extent we are on the legal side of the things. Now, if we plan to increase our area of practice, so there's always a discussion that there's a mounting staff cost, that if you want to retain the staff, you have to bring them value. Value in terms of their know-how, value in terms of your practices, and value in terms of the money. We have to compete not only with the big firms of domestic big firms, but global big firms who are operating out of India, and obviously corporates as well, who are employing professionals. And being a practicing firm, maybe a beginning firm or a young firm, it's really, really difficult to keep pace or be ahead of them. So where did we find that because of all these four, what we lose on is to get a right customer, okay? So during the previous session, again, I'm just repeating previous section again and again because we are being told that, okay, you have to be visible with the directors. You have to be visible with the CFOs. You have to be visible with the CXOs, with the right offering, with the right service. You have to be with the right person. But how? What should I offer? How should I offer? Is it pure marketing that I claim something which I don't have it? Or I do have something which I can utilize to project myself in the right manner, build up my brand, build up wealth, not only for myself, but first for my customers, my team, and then obviously for myself, okay? And the last part is access and ability or adaptability to technology. Now this, which I see, has nothing to do with budget, personally speaking. So when we say we are doing business from two perspectives, or we are doing service, or we are practicing professionals or practicing company secretaries, one is by passion, other is we are driven by passion or we are driven by money, right? But I think the next stage is intention-driven activity. That's very, very important. If our intention is to grow, then technology, the adoption of the technology, you should have an intention to adopt technology. And there has to be a beginning for it before it's too late. And this is some way I realized during my, I would say, while I was serving few startups. So you remember one of our colleagues says that he has set up 20 startups, their market cap is around 7,000 crores, right? And I'm sure you all will agree to me that one common thing in all those startups is what? Can anybody answer in this session? Out of the 20 startups, what is the most common thing in that? Technology. That's one common thing, sir, for sure. But technology. Now, what is the difference between a normal Kirana store or any other e-commerce entity? Why they are able to spread it across the geographies in a limited time span with the offering of the same things. They sell the same soap, they sell the same bread, right? Technology. So that means accessibility. So what I'm trying to do in the next slide is to how technology can solve some of the pain areas if there is an intention to do that. And why I'm saying so, using this intention so specifically, that ICSI through its various MOUs and initiatives have done a lot of arrangements with a lot of tech partners, wherein a lot of those solutions are in fact being curated by fellow members only. But the level of acceptability or even the intention to try it is very, very limited. It has to be more encouraging. And there are beautiful products which are lined up on the ICSI portal if you visit that. And they kept on adding more and more during their activities. Now, these are few of the applications which I come across, okay, or wherein organizations like ours have curated or our peers have curated, wherein these pain points can be solved. Now, while we talk about that how we can grow our area of practice, the one thing that we need to know is that what are those areas of practice and from where I will get that knowledge. It's a chicken and egg story. मुझे practice बढ़ाना है पर मेरे पास books नहीं है, books खरीदने के पैसे नहीं है और books को read करना बड़ा difficult है. Right? Now we are talking about concept of e-book. Now there is a concept of next level wherein you have smart books wherein if you want to search about a particular compliance in any law, so you can just put in a keyword about a particular thing, say for example, return under Shop and Establishment Act of Punjab, it will tell you anything and everything about that on the same page. Whether something is mentioned in section 2, something is mentioned in rule 22 of Shop and Establishment Act because I was not aware of it. I have been consulting only on Companies Act or SEBI law. Right? And then the most important part, मैंने company बनाया, सबसे ज़्यादा दिल कब टूटता है, company मैंने बनाया, एक साल के बाद वो कंपनी किसी बड़ी फर्म पे जाता है बिकॉज मैं उसके कॉम्प्लेक्सिटीज़ को सर्व नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ, राइट? वो कॉम्प्लेक्सिटीज सर्व करने का हमने कभी सॉल्यूशन सोचा बिसाइड्स वन इंजन, ग्लोबल इंजन, आई एम नॉट नेमिंग इट, उस बाबा को छोड़ के हम कभी दूसरा ट्राई करा हमने, राइट? हाउ you can analyze what are the laws applicable to your client, whether those law is corporate laws, whether IPR laws, whether environmental regulations, whether taxation regulations, whether business specific regulations, how you can get it. So friends, you have those applications available online, not only one but many like this. So just imagine you incorporated a company, somebody is setting up a factory in Gujarat, I am sitting in Kolkata, and I am able to evaluate after that tool what are the laws applicable to my client in Gujarat, and then being intention of a mega firm, I have my other colleagues, my seniors with me to guide on those list of laws. Finally, I have to clean them up, right? System will not clean them up. System will give you a predictive thing based on the input that you have given. So therein, that mega firm concept start playing a role, that now you have an equipment to also use your friends, associates to serve a bigger and better client from wherever you are. Similarly, there are tools available wherein you can also identify the relevant compliances. Look, whenever a company gets set up or any business gets set up, whether company, LLP, partnership, proprietorship, NGO, the first and foremost thing besides incorporation or setup is what all different registrations are required under different laws, right? Okay? हम सब ने इकोनॉमिक्स पढ़ी है, right? इकोनॉमिक्स में हमेशा होता है कि सब कुछ एक बास्केट में मत रखिए, अंडे मत रखिए, right? और don't be focused or limited to what particular thing, right? क्योंकि रिस्क होता है, जोग्राफिकल रिस्क, पॉलिटिकल रिस्क, इकोनॉमिक रिस्क, सोशो इकोनॉमिक रिस्क, बहुत सारे रिस्क हैं, राइट? अगर हम कुछ लिमिटेड लॉज पे रिस्ट्रिक्ट रहते हैं तो क्लाइंट कभी ना कभी जाएगा. Now what we just need to do, have an intention to serve the client in a better manner. उसके लिए थोड़ी सी रिसर्च करनी है. रिसर्च करने के लिए एक इंजन को छोड़ दीजिए कुछ टाइम के लिए. देयर आर मोर इंजन्स अवेलेबल. उस इंजन में आपको जाना है और वहाँ से आपको सिर्फ ये निकालना है कि ये मेरे लॉज एप्लीकेबल आ गए. अब इन लॉज में मेरे पास क्या क्या रजिस्ट्रेशन होने हैं. अगर मैं आपको कोलकाता में बैठे बैठे ये पता लग रहा है कि गुजरात में जो कंपनी का प्लांट सेटअप हो रहा है उसका एप्लीकेशन ऑनलाइन फाइल हो जाता है, सो विल यू लीव दैट क्लाइंट? You get all the information, and that is why I'm saying intention, because institute have everything with you. I remember like I think 15 साल हो गए हैं, मनीष करेक्ट मी इफ आई एम रॉन्ग, जब इंस्टीट्यूट ने एक बहुत अच्छा PDF डॉक्यूमेंट बनाया था जिसमें उन्होंने सेक्टर स्पेसिफिक लॉज लिखे थे. 2015, राइट? एंड उसके ओवर एंड अबव इंस्टीट्यूट बहुत डॉक्यूमेंट सिमिलर बना चुका है. लेकिन अब टेक्नोलॉजी ने क्या करा है, उस टेक्नोलॉजी ने सब कुछ इंटीग्रेट कर दिया है. नो, दिस इज वेरी रेलेवेंट टू आवर टॉपिक टुडेज सेशन. Integrated growth. Now, integrated growth is of the human resources, knowledge and technology. So मैं जब compliance को समझता हूँ तो मैं बोलता हूँ complete alliance. It is not isolated action. So we have to just simply think layman language में हम वो alliances कैसे करें. Human alliances, knowledge alliances and technology alliances. Because as I said, कि वो जो 20 कंपनीज हैं जिनका 7,000 करोड़ का मार्केट कैप हुआ है, ऑब्वियसली दे आर नॉट फ्रॉड्स, राइट? आई थिंक एवरीबडी विल एग्री दे आर नॉट फ्रॉड्स, राइट? दे हैव अ डिफरेंट बिजनेस मॉडल वेयर इन, बट द बैकअप एंड द बैकबोन ऑफ एवरीथिंग इज टेक्नोलॉजी. सो व्हाई एज प्रैक्टिसिंग फर्म्स वी शाई अवे और थिंक ट्वाइस. इनिशियली आई यूज्ड टू थिंक कि यार ये टेक्नोलॉजी ज़्यादा आ जाएगा ना तो मेरी ज़रूरत क्या है, फिर क्लाइंट गूगल पे जाएगा निकाल लेगा. बॉस, हमारे इंडिया के लॉज थैंकफुली इतने सिंपल नहीं है. उसमें सेव एज, अदरवाइज, हेंस फोर्थ, हेयर फोर्थ, बहुत कुछ है, सब्जेक्ट टू, राइट? एंड अनदर गुड थिंग कि अगर आपने कंपनीज एक्ट, सेबी लॉज पे मास्टर हो गए हैं तो बारिंग इनकम टैक्स एक्ट, बाकी सारे एक्ट बहुत सिंपल हैं. उसमें इतने सारे इफ एंड बट होते ही नहीं है. दे आर प्लेन सिंपल इंग्लिश, इतने कन्फ्यूजन नहीं होते हैं. सो जैसे हम वाइफ से बात करते हुए 10 बार सोचते हैं ना कि अब ये वर्ड यूज़ करा तो इसका क्या होगा, दैट इज़ कंपनीज एक्ट, राइट? बट जब दोस्तों से बात करते हैं तो कुछ भी बोलते हैं, दैट इज़ अदर लॉज. फूड लॉ में लिखा है कि मैं ना बेकरी खोलने वाला हूँ, उसकी वेबसाइट पे जाओ, वो पूछेगा क्या खोलने वाले हो, क्या बेकरी खोलने वाला हूँ. कितने टन का बेकरी प्लांट लगाओगे, इतने टन का लगाऊंगा. उसमें क्या क्या वेयर हाउस भी है, हाँ है. दिस इज हाउ स्मार्ट द गवर्नमेंट वेबसाइट आई एम टेलिंग यू एप्लीकेशंस आर. एंड सिमिलरली यू हैव लॉट ऑफ टूल्स एप्लीकेबल अवेलेबल ऑन देम. सो अभी मनीष भाई मेरे से वही बात कर रहे थे कि यार इतने टूल्स हैं, हम लोग मतलब उसको यूज़ करने का हम देख रहे हैं कि हाउ मेंबर शुड यूज़ इट. इट इज़ एवरीथिंग इज़ देयर, राइट? एंड जस्ट इमेजिन आपको क्लाइंट का नोटिस आता है. आप अभी एक डिस्कशन हो रहा था मर्जर, राइट? समबडी वाज टेलिंग मर्जर. मैं एक बहुत सिंपल एग्जांपल देता हूँ. मर्जर तो बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स चीज़ है. अपॉइंटमेंट ऑफ अ डायरेक्टर. मैंने सर की बुक पढ़ी थी, अपना सर बैठे हुए थे ना हमारे, जोशी सर, कोठारी सर की एक बुक पढ़ी थी कंपनीज एक्ट के बाद. सो पहली बुक मिली थी मुझे जिसमें बियॉन्ड कंपनीज एक्ट इम्पैक्ट बताया था, इफ यू आर अपॉइंटिंग अपॉइंटमेंट ऑफ अ होल टाइम डायरेक्टर व्हाट इज द प्रोसीजर। तो बिसाइड्स फाइलिंग ABC फॉर्म्स अंडर कंपनीज एक्ट, उन्होंने बाद में लिखा था अगर NBFC है तो RBI बीच में आएगा, इंश्योरेंस है तो RDI बीच में आएगा। दैट इज इंटेलिजेंस। नाउ दिस टूल्स विच आर अवेलेबल ऑन ऑनलाइन, आप अपॉइंटमेंट ऑफ डायरेक्टर सेलेक्ट करो और कुछ स्टेट वगैरह सेलेक्ट करो, आपको सजेस्टिव देगा ये एक्ट एप्लीकेबल हो सकते हैं जिसमें अपॉइंटमेंट ऑफ डायरेक्टर का इम्पैक्ट आता है। अब इतनी इंग्लिश हमें आती है कि ये एक्ट है, इसको रीड करूंगा फिर टिक लगाऊंगा, जहां आपने टिक लगाया वहां वो कंप्लायंस लिस्ट कर देता है। सो बॉस, आई डोंट हैव टू टेल यू हाउ वैल्यू यू आर क्रिएटिंग टू योर क्लाइंट विद द हेल्प ऑब्वियसली ऑफ योर सीनियर्स, राइट। केस लॉस, ग्लोबली केस लॉस में सबसे ज़्यादा इन्वेस्टमेंट हुआ है। तो वी हैव लॉट ऑफ मेंबर्स हु आर into litigation. सॉरी, अगर टाइम हो तो प्रवीण भाई मुझे बोल देना प्लीज़। हाँ, सो केस लॉज में जब हम सर्च करते हैं, हम नाम से सर्च कर लेते हैं या कीवर्ड से सर्च कर लेते हैं। टेक्नोलॉजी यहाँ तक पहुँच गई है कि ये जो जजमेंट हुआ था इसमें वो कौन सा कोर स्टेटमेंट था जिसके बेसिस पे डिसीजन आया था, या वो कौन सा फैक्ट था जिसके बेसिस पे डिसीजन आया था। यू विल सी ग्लोबली टूल्स लाइक दिस, एंड बाय द वे ये इंडिया में भी इन्वेस्टमेंट हो रहा है ऐसा। जितने भी आपके केस लॉ के इंजन्स हैं, दे आर इन्वेस्टिंग कि वो आपको ये भी बता देंगे कि ये जो केस आया था, ये जो जजमेंट हुआ था, इसका अंडरलाइंग बेस क्या था ना। जो लर्निंग्स हैं हमारे सीनियर्स की, उन्होंने वो टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ इंटीग्रेट कर दिया। एंड दिस इज़ हाउ इफ़ एज यंग प्रोफेशनल्स, मैं अपनी तरफ हाथ नहीं कर रहा हूँ यार, यंग तो मनीष ने निकाल लिया एज, सो दैट आई हाउ एज यंग प्रोफेशनल्स आप लोग उसमें एटलीस्ट अपने सीनियर्स के लिए रिसर्च आराम से करके दे सकते हो, एंड देन योर सीनियर कैन क्लीन योर थॉट्स, राइट। अभी तो क्या होता है ना, सर कैसे ढूंढूं, कहाँ ढूंढूं, एक ही बाबा है जिसके पीछे मुझे घूमना पड़ता है, उसमें रैंडमली कुछ भी चीज़ निकल जाती है, करेक्ट। सो वो रैंडमली चीज़ों के बहुत सारे ऑप्शंस आ गए हैं। AI में जैसे किरण बोल रहे थे, तो आई एम टेलिंग यू फ्रैंकली, अभी मेरा एक डिस्कशन हो रहा था, एक इंडिया में फर्म है, सो दे हैव इनकॉर्पोरेटेड अराउंड few thousand companies last year with only headcount of 3 people. Now that is the challenge you are going to face, boss. Because standard है ना, डोमेस्टिक कंपनी बननी है, ये इन्फॉर्मेशन लेनी है। उन्होंने फॉर एग्जांपल क्या करा, मैं एग्जांपल ले रहा हूँ, ओके, आई एम नॉट कोटिंग क्लियरली। उन्होंने पोर्टल पे वो फॉर्म्स ओपन, आपने बोला कंपनी इनकॉर्पोरेशन, उन्होंने बोला कितने डायरेक्टर, 2, अच्छा ये पेपर्स लगा दो उनके, उसका ये डायरेक्ट रजिस्ट्रेशन का डॉक्यूमेंट लगा दो, ये लगा दो, सब कुछ आपसे ही लगवा रहा है। और फिर एक API बना के MCA की वेबसाइट से कनेक्ट कर दिया, फाइल भी हो गया, फीस आप क्रेडिट कार्ड से वहीं पे कर दो, क्लोज हो गया। हाइपोथेटिकल लग रहा है, एक्चुअल है, ये एक्चुअल है। सो इसीलिए अगर आप सोच रहे हैं निश एरिया, अभी जैसे विवेक जी बोल रहे थे कि हम एक कंप्लायंस टूल लगा रहे हैं, वो कंप्लायंस टूल आपके लिए नहीं लगा रहे हैं। उन्होंने बोला डिपार्टमेंट के पास पीछे बैकएंड में होगा कि आपने क्या क्या गुलची करी है, एंड देन हाउ एज प्रोफेशनल यू आर स्टेप अहेड। आप ही अगर ये टूल्स यूज नहीं कर रहे हो, आपको ही क्लाइंट का डाटा नहीं है, तो क्लाइंट कहेगा सर दिस इज योर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, यू आर कंप्लायंस प्रोफेशनल, यू शुड बी प्रेडिक्टिव। वेयर इज योर प्रेडिक्शन? बुक्स कितनी खरीदोगे? लॉ में रोज चेंज हो रहा है, रोज चेंज हो रहा है। तो आई थिंक कंप्लायंस केस मैनेजमेंट ये आपका ईज के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से है। कब तक वो डायरीज एंड ऑल दैट छोटा है चलेगा, बट अगर आपको ईज करना है, छोटी मोटी चीज़ें होती हैं, राइट। सिमिलरली बिलिंग होता है, भूल गया मैं बिलिंग, सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट होता है बिलिंग करना भूल गया, ये प्रैक्टिसिंग फर्म्स के साथ बहुत होता है, ठीक है। सिंपल है, यू हैव टूल्स कि आपने जब फॉर्म भरा, सब कुछ करा, काम खत्म करा, वो टूल वहीं से बिल निकाल देता है साथ में क्लाइंट के नाम का। एंड बाय द वे दिस वाज समथिंग क्रिएटेड, आई सॉ वन ऑफ अ प्रैक्टिसिंग कंपनी की सेक्रेटरी इन दिल्ली, इन लक्ष्मी नगर, जिन्होंने इन हाउस डेवलप करी थी ये चीज़। आई वॉज रियली फैसिनेटेड विद दैट, और किसी ने उसको एक्चुअली अच्छी तरीके से बना दिया है। जस्ट कितना सिंपल है ना, आप 500 रुपये नोट करना भूल जाते हो, एंड 500 रुपये मल्टीप्लाई बाय 10 कितने हो गए? 5000 महीने के, साल के 60,000, और म्यूचुअल फंड वाले बोलते हैं 5,000 रुपये महीना इन्वेस्ट करो तो 20 साल बाद 2 करोड़ रुपए। कितने लूज करे हमने पैसे? सर कुछ ऐसी है ना म्यूचुअल फंड की जार्गन, एंड विच इज मे बी इतना भी गलत नहीं है वो, राइट? कंप्लायंस चैटबॉट्स, नाउ दिस इज समथिंग बिग। मैंने सबसे आखिर में लिखा है क्योंकि अभी इस पे वर्किंग बहुत चल रही है। मैंने थोड़ा एक्सपीरियंस करा है इसको। ऑस्ट्रेलिया में टैक्सेशन के लिए लाइव हो गया। इनकम टैक्स में यू कैन चैट with the system on any query about income tax. I personally experienced this 2 years back on something internally, on chatting on WhatsApp, on compliances. Now, आप ये अभी दिमाग में क्या आएगा? अरे यार ये आ गया तो हम तो गए। कितनों के दिमाग में आया ये चीज़? फ्रैंकली मेरे आया था फर्स्ट टाइम जब मैं खुद ही सोच रहा था। लेकिन फिर वही वाली बात मत भूलो, सेव एज, हेंसफोर्थ, हेयर आफ्टर, वो हमें इंटरप्रेट करना है, सिस्टम इंटरप्रेट नहीं करेगा। बेनिफिट क्या हो रहा है कि पहले आप एक लॉ में काम करते थे, क्योंकि अगर आप सिस्टम से पूछ लेते हो कि मैटरनिटी एक्ट में कोई रिटर्न फाइल होती है, सिस्टम में कहते हैं ये शो मी द फॉर्मेट, तो वो आपको दे रहा है, तो आप अपना एरिया ऑफ प्रैक्टिस बढ़ा रहे हो ना। दिस रिमाइंड ऑफ सिचुएशन जब हम यंग थे तो कंप्यूटराइजेशन पे हमने बैंकिंग में बहुत हल्ला होता और सुना था कि नौकरियां आ जाएंगी, कंप्यूटर आ जाएंगे। तो कम हुई है या बढ़ी है? सिंपल लॉजिक। इस टेक्नोलॉजी से अगर आप कंपनीज एक्ट के अलावा या सेबी के अलावा 5 एक्ट भी ऐड कर गए, आई एम जस्ट सेइंग 5, दो HR लॉज ही एक स्टेट में कम से कम 30-40 होते हैं, एनवायरमेंटल लॉज 10-12 होते हैं, ठीक है? और हम क्लेम करते हैं सेक्रेटरी ऑडिट में हम सब कुछ करते हैं। डोंट वी क्लेम दैट द सेक्रेटरी ऑडिट इज आवर बेबी, ओनली कंपनी सेक्रेटरीज कैन डू इट, राइट? सो दीज सिस्टम्स आर गोइंग टू हेल्प यू आउट, ओनली द इंटेंशन टू सपोर्ट एंड बी पार्ट ऑफ द जर्नी इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। और ये महंगे नहीं है, ये जितनी चीज़ें मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ ना, ठीक है, except chatbot which is not live as of now, but lot of firms are working around it. Indian firms are working around it. I am telling you, Indian firms are working around it. ये 2,500 रुपये साल से लेके 2,500 रुपये महीने में ख़त्म हो जाती है। मनीष भाई हमारे यहाँ तो फ्री है, उल्टा इंस्टीट्यूट के पास तो फ्री रखे हुए, अवेल ही नहीं। कितनी अवेल करता है? हमारे कितने मेंबर्स हैं मनीष भाई? सो आई थिंक इंटेंशन इज़ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। कॉस्ट नहीं है, लर्निंग ह्यूज। सो दिस इज़ वॉट our submission, or my humble submission has been for today, that how this technology can help to we becoming mega firms, or we having multiple mega firms. अब global content अभी जो मिलता है, I agree, बहुत महंगा मिलता है। We have very few players who provide you global content. हम globalization की भी बात कर रहे थे, right? इंडिया में कम से कम 10 से 12 हम आपके ही peers काम कर रहे हैं, जो आपको विद इन एन ईयर और सो आपको इंटरनेशनल कंटेंट भी इंडिया में ही प्रोवाइड करवाएंगे। ओनली प्लीज हैव द इंटेंशन टू डू अ बिगिनिंग ऑफ देयर टुडेज वर्जन, राइट? तो ICICI के पोर्टल पे प्लीज़ आप एक बार ट्राई करो, बहुत सारे अच्छे पोर्टल्स हैं, बहुत सारे अच्छे वो प्रोडक्ट्स हैं, आपको ज़रूरत तो कोई जाना ही नहीं है सब चीज़ों के लिए। सो दिस इज़ माई सबमिशन हैज़ बीन। थैंक यू वेरी मच। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Gaurav, for the wonderful deliberations and the open touch on the practical aspects which are actually affecting and impacting to all the professionals. Now we know that the AI, as we discussed at the initial level also, that it's going to make an house in the startups, I would say, or the new business houses and all that. How we can take this further? And now the question is coming about the small PCS firms. They are not having so much of financial capabilities and infrastructure setup to have a best or better use or more uses of the AI. But how do you think that the emerging technologies such as AI or blockchain can impact the governance professionals? And what are the emerging technologies which can help the practicing company secretaries? Or what a PCS can do for capacity building in the emerging technologies? So my question to you, Kiran, can you guide on how our practicing company secretaries, which are the emerging areas of the technologies that can help to our practicing company secretaries? And if you want to suggest some tools, that would also be great. Thank you.
Thank you. See, there are few things. One, what I see more again at a conceptual or at a willingness level, as was discussed even in the previous session, I'll say that everything is possible if we have desire to do things. It's about cleaning the river Ganges, as Prime Minister Modi has started. I'm not saying I'm supporter of BJP or against BJP. Don't get into political aspects of it. My point is starting to initiate some task which is huge, which is Herculean task to do, even thinking of that, and then starting to implement it some way. Whether the river Ganga will get cleaned or not, that's a different story. We don't know. But at least some effort has been done, etc. So likewise, I think the whole gamut is around our intent, our willingness to do things, and then execution. So what I always tell my team or my friends is, have right intent, translate that into proper planning, and then execute and translate that further into proper execution. Now, when I say that, of course, there are certain ifs and buts, there are certain assumptions, there are certain deviations from the expectations. I understand that. So, as we discussed even in the previous sessions, we are human beings. Errors can happen. We can always take corrective measures. So, likewise, coming to the point, I will say that we should start from a smaller thing. We should even, I must say that we have not, I'm making a general statement, don't get me wrong, I'm not discounting any one of us here, but we have not even exploited the best use of MS Office yet, including myself. I feel I am learning every day some other feature I get to see in MS Excel or Word. I have done automated totaling in MS Word. Can I tell you? Summing in MS Word table. Have we done that? How many of us have done that? So I'm just giving one example. I may not know 20 other things, but what I'm trying to say is using MS Office to its best extent, or higher version of understanding. So that is from where we should start. Coming to the point, considering the theme of the session, I must say that there are tools available in the market. I don't want to be sounding as I'm, supporting or representing any of those. So I'll not name, but there are definitely few tools, or probably Gaurav may want to add, which are available so far as this compliance thing is concerned. We must try and explore those, try and see which one suits you from cost perspective, from coverage perspective, from support perspective. Support in the sense, after you take the license, then how much support is available, how many hours of free support, whatever, or training, etc., and how easy to use the tool is. But there are tools available in the market which we should explore and start using it. I always say that today we are in a world where we get SMS that your cab is arriving in 5 minutes. You get SMS that so and so amount has been credited or debited to your bank account. Why can't we get a SMS that your NCLT station that is slated where you are supposed to represent tomorrow is due in next few hours, so that your time is not wasted? Somebody sitting there since morning. Why can't we say that your session is scheduled at 2:30? That's it. Or maybe it could be half an hour here and there. We can understand there are certain challenges for the judges there as well in terms of the matter goes on, etc. But at least sitting since morning is a total waste. So there are simple such things which we change or try to change as a system will definitely save our professional time and add a lot of value. So as I said, I will not want to name but there are definitely few available. And insofar as this AI and ML is concerned, even there are few startups which are willing to develop something for professionals like company secretaries. So if you can just get hang of few professionals who are willing to develop something, because they are mostly developing something in the others areas like pharma and technology, IT, computers. So I would suggest, I would encourage connecting with few startups who are more than willing to develop something for us. And Gaurav, if you want to add.
Thank you. Gaurav, my question to you is that, see, the cloud-based computing and SaaS have helped to reduce the cost to a big extent by replacing the cost of IT hardwares for the professionals as far as concerned. So how the professionals can make better use of this AI into the services so as to establish the services in a professional manner and reduction of cost in terms of hardware infrastructure or the manpower uses?
So yeah, I think very relevant question. When we say SaaS model, I think we all know what the SaaS model is. That is something which is not on your hardware or not on your laptop, or the application and data is residing on some other good server. Okay. So first of all, we have to be very clear that while we are using any servers, their ISO compliance servers, okay? That's it, not beyond it, but use some good brands, okay? Now, we have applications wherein, as we were telling about applications which help you to analyze and predict the compliances based on various corporate actions you are taking because they are supported by AI or machine learning, okay? So instead of investing in heavy data being downloaded on your hardware, okay, wherein you might have to go few TB of hardware to store such huge libraries because how the system is predicting is based on heavy libraries, okay. So you can use it like any other search engine to analyze the compliances, the laws, and also drafting, as Kiran was telling that a lot of things are as if now maybe staggered form intelligently, but still it is coming closer to integrations as well. So this is how I think, again, start using it. While the name of the tools, as I said, Chirag Tale Andhera, I'm just promoting my competition. You already have tools on ICSI portal. So we can always get guided. They all are available there.
See, Gaurav, one more question I would say now, just Kiran has quoted that how we are doing the hearings and why we are wasting timings when the matter is coming at 4 o'clock. But that is again a man-made thing because when you go to the NCLT and you see sometime a single matter take 1 hour or 1.5 hour, entire first half is goes into that. Or sometime in 5 minutes only 40 matters are passed on. So that system cannot predict actually. But the question is that when in today's scenario, when online hearing is made, which was not someone would have think or dreamed, I would say rather than 1.5 year before, that a person sitting in Calcutta can attend the NCLT benches at Delhi also, Jaipur also, or Calcutta also, let's say, or Mumbai also, Pune also. So in a single day, he can attend the matter at 4 or 5 benches. So the question comes out is that online hearing when it has comes to the recent arena into the working of the professionals and the robot, what more can be expected in terms of the online hearing in future? Or I would say how the company secretary should develop in their competencies in order to perform their functioning effectively and what challenges the company secretary professionals can have as a judicial piece, to face the judicial bodies as far as the online hearing is concerned.
So, Praveen, I just tell you what we are saying that how we can predict today that this hearing is going to last for how much long, okay? But I tell you, this is not going to be long. Uh, I personally have experienced in a lot of emails that I use, okay? So when I'm replying to an email, the system has already read the email I'm replying to. अगर मैंने मिस्टर अभिनव को रिप्लाई करना है और तो सिस्टम मुझे ऑलरेडी रिप्लाई में लिख के दे चुका होता है डियर अभिनव एंड व्हेन आई टाइप माय फर्स्ट वर्ड इट स्टार्ट गिविंग द प्रिडिक्टिंग द नेक्स्ट वर्ड्स टू मी सो व्हाई सिंपल थिंग दे हैव रेड इट दे हैव एनालाइज्ड इट सिमिलरली जब सेशन चल रहे होंगे हमारे सो दे आर रिकॉर्डिंग ऑल दो सेशंस दे आर रीडिंग एनालाइजिंग अंडरस्टैंडिंग एंड प्रिडिक्टिंग okay, now predicting not only on the words but also on the tone, the press, the thirst of the voice, and then they can predict and can inform you that okay, this session might last long or here it coming for the early action. Now coming to the second side of it, that I think important is the training. So as while we are appearing for any judicial or quasi-judicial authority, so there are basic protocols, basic procedures we should be knowing, which we learn or should be learning from our seniors who has been appearing before these authorities. And that is the most decorated, I think, once you appear before judicial or quasi-judicial authorities, the most, it's a very different experience of doing it. And this is an art which we have to learn from our seniors. And I'm sure the moot court sessions are basically towards that only, how you appear. But yes, on the other side, contrary, the other side which comes in is the technology part. And thankfully, those tools are very simple, whether it is Teams, Zoom, wherein you are appearing before. So you simply have to learn how to log in, how to share the document. But the most important thing in the entire process is how you conduct yourself, for which we have to learn from our seniors who had been doing it for so many years in the best possible manner.
Correct, correct. Kiran, you want to add something on this?
Yeah, I'll say a couple of things. One, I think we all experienced this first time because of COVID to this magnitude in the judicial hearing context. I think there is a need to standardize and streamline the formats in which the way documents are submitted to authorities such that uh, the basic information is provided in a structured format irrespective of, I know there are like, meaning how written statement is, written, all that is kind of broadly structured, I'm not saying no. But again, within that, if forms can be further refined, like we have seen the MCA versions, right, the earlier formats and the versions we have now, they are a lot improved over a period of time in terms of which attachments you need to attach to a particular form, all standardization. So that's what I mean when you submit documents, whether it is NCLT or any other judiciary or quasi-judicial authority. I think there is lot required around standardization of those formats, which will simplify the stuff and make our job easy when we are remotely, making a submission. Two, I think that art of advocacy, as was discussed in the previous session, matters a lot in terms of what you want to convey, learning the art of communication skill, how can you communicate the message in minimum words. I think those are the skill sets, soft skills, those are also equally important. But technology will help you predict certain things in terms of the matter, and then that can guide the judge as well over a period of time. This will take some time, not in a hurry.
Thank you. Kiran, I'll take the question on the electronic e-voting, which we see that nowadays it's saving so much of time for the people in compared to the physical voting, and the declaration of result is very fast and quicker. When we see that electronic voting on resolutions is actually facilitating the fair and transparent decision for the sake of stakeholders, that is shareholders or other people. But what are the new areas which have adopted e-voting as a means of decision making as far as the corporate is concerned?
I think e-voting is one best example because shareholders don't have to travel all the way, and those who are unable to attend meeting in person, and I mean everyone understands that. Just in the interest of time, I'll cut it short. But I think there are many such areas where technology can help us. I'll give you an example. Let's say there is a company with some 30 companies in a group, and then you know that the law is amended to say that intercorporate investments more than 25%, will require special resolution. I'm just putting some hypothetical example. Now, if that amendment is going to say instead of 25%, the amendment changes it to 50%. Now you need to understand at a click of a button how many companies within your group of 40 companies will get impacted because of this change. Maybe you have 20 companies where you have 25% investment. You have 10 companies where you have more than 50% investment. The matter could be simple if the number is smaller. But what if, meaning there are larger groups like Tatas and Birlas and Mahindras, there are many such complex examples. But at a click of a button, the technology will tell you, okay, if the percentage changes from 25 to 50, these are the 5 companies which will get impacted. These are the shares you will be required to either sell or purchase, whatever the amendment says. So that is the action that will get triggered. So the technology can help you arrive at analysis and the quick database to take further action. So likewise, there are many areas I could think of, but this is just one example.
So in continuation of this, Gaurav, I just want to come to you regarding the decision making when we are talking from the e-voting. So what is the difference or advice to the professionals as far as the using of AI is concerned in terms of decision making? Let's say when it was physical voting was there, and now when e-voting is there. So we know there's a huge difference in terms of costing. But yes, if we are adopting a new technology system, hardware, software, and then its maintenance, everything is too costly. So what is your suggestion or take on the cost benefit analysis vis-a-vis of e-voting or the physical voting?
So, Praveen, I think while we have this session wherein I think values are very important while we are a governance professionals. So, e-voting brings a lot of transparency in the entire process and also give a fair chance to the larger stakeholders to participate and give their views and input irrespective of the geographies they are at. Uh, and as compliance professionals, as we know, the larger responsibility is on us while we are declaring the decisions being done as a, correct me if I'm, as a scrutinizers of those e-votings or votings happening. And since there's a provision in the law that if something goes wrong, the professionals can be held responsible, maybe punitive or monetary or non-monetary action, but the goodwill gets impacted if you are cautioned. So this e-voting have become a kind of a transparency all across and have give us a sigh of a relief, sense of a relief that okay, whatever is there, it is black and white in front of you and you are not biased. Coming to the cost side of it, I think wherein I said SaaS model is the best models, but yes, historically we have been averse to the idea that I'll not save my documents on anybody else's server, right? And therein we have to incur cost in terms of downloading the application, the entire libraries on our server, then expecting our own IT team to manage those servers and secrecy and safety of the documents. Therein I believe that while we are ready to download apps on our mobile, which has the most confidential information, and we allow them to use your pictures, your phone libraries and everything, but we are not ready to use a good servers of the best of the countries or companies of the globe and use the application as a SaaS model or subscription model without investing on servers, right? So that is why I said all these technology applications which we are talking about comes in the range of 2,500 rupees per annum to 2,500 rupees per month. It is dirt cheap. It is dirt cheap. So, but yes, the only thing is we have to be cautious in terms of the service provider we are using. But I don't know if you have ever read the privacy policy of Gmail or any other mail IDs we use. How many of you have you ever read it? So most of them write that 99% of this data belongs to you. Now start interpreting the meaning of it. Now जो निकालेंगे वो 1% में ही काउंट करेंगे, रीड वो पूरा करेंगे, लेकिन आपकी सबसे कॉन्फिडेंशियल पार्ट जो यूज़ होनी है, बट वो आपके बेनिफिट के लिए यूज़ करेंगे. दिस इज़ व्हाट दे एग्री टू, कि हम वो मार्केटिंग के लिए या आपको बेस्ट सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड करने के लिए यूज़ करेंगे. दैट इज़ व्हाट वी अग्री टू. सो आई थिंक थोड़ा सा हमें ओपन होना चाहिए, बट येस कॉशियस रहना चाहिए. बट जब कॉशियस रहना चाहिए तो हमें थोड़ा ऐप्स को या जब हम अलाउ कर रहे हैं तो उसके लिए भी रहना चाहिए.
If I can add, Soniji,
Yeah,
very
please,
quickly
please.
on the cost aspect, I think definitely for smaller companies, it's a costly affair, very meaning high cost affair, no doubt as of date. But I look at it as a transition or any learning like our mobile phones. Now we know that we are not anymore paying for calls, we just pay for data. So that transition has happened over years, and which is so surprising. You know, somebody 10 years back or 15 years back wouldn't have even thought that I can call in the country anywhere with a zero cost, and that's the kind of magic. Now, that thing will happen probably over a period of time. The cost models will change depending on the subscriber base, and you know, all companies starting to use this. So today, definitely it would be costly for smaller companies or even large companies. They have different set of problems, but I think the whole cost and commercial game would change as we start using it, and over a period of time, with the competition pressure, it has to come down, is my estimate.
I just want to add something to this. Very simple thing, when we talk about cost, so while all the dignitaries are here, what will be the average cost of mobile we are handling in our hand? Can anybody say what will be the average cost if we add up the sum cost of all the mobiles, value of all the mobiles we purchase? 25 to 30,000 rupees, right? Now talk to yourself and say कि आप 25 to 30,000 का मोबाइल ले सकते हो, but 25-30,000 आपने अपनी फर्म में टेक्नोलॉजी पे इन्वेस्ट करा है कभी साल में? And what is the benefit we are taking of this mobile? जो बेस्ट फ़ोन होगा उसमें एक ही बेनिफिट होगा, कितने पिक्सल्स का कैमरा. Unfortunately, that does not help in practice. So that is something a simple logic. So cost, I think, never matters. India कभी cost market कहते थे, but I think mobile phones have changed everything. It's a simple example.
See, we are sitting in the place Kolkata, and I hails from Rajasthan, and it generally says whenever a Marwadi says कि बात पीसा की कोनी, actually वहाँ पे बात पीसा की ही है. So it's only the money which actually matters.
And that's what we say. It matters when we want to matter. The intentions are important.
Exactly.
Intentions are important.
So, friends, I'll take up the last question before opening the forum. It's for the forum and the people, those who are members, those who are present here, to take up one or two last questions. As you rightly told in the beginning of your speech that whatever kind of technology we may introduce, but yes, howsoever, whatsoever, provided that everything that we people need to define, we need to interpret it, and that thing cannot be done by the machines. The feelings cannot be judged by the machine. The words can be there, but what the intent behind that or the third or fourth level of interpretation is there, that cannot be judged by the machine. So my question coming to both the gentlemen is that what are the limitations of artificial intelligence which we are feeling while using it for the purpose of our profession, and what can we see to what extent it's going to helpful to us? Kiran, I request first you to reply. What are the limitations of the AI which we are feeling as far as if we start using it for our profession?
Okay, very quickly I'll go considering meaning the time in the day. One, of course, this technology keeps changing. So whatever we invest, again, we realize there is something called blockchain. Now blockchain will be superseded by something else tomorrow. So that is likely to happen. That's a risk. But that is bound to happen, like a computer or laptop we buy or a mobile phone we buy today. It is redundant maybe after a year. That model is shut down by the company, and then you don't get a charger and those things. So these are the gimmicks. Quickly, other important point, there are a lot of other areas for practicing company secretaries such as valuation, arbitration, IB that we discussed today, even interpretation of statutes, representation before authorities, analyzing the situation. You know, there are a lot of things, mergers, due diligence. So there are many such areas where human intervention is a must. Artificial intelligence cannot take over human intelligence. It will, you know, help us to some degree or complement. And on a lighter side, artificial intelligence cannot surpass human stupidity as well. So, so bear that in mind.
Thank you. Gaurav, you want to put some views here?
Yeah, so I think I will not predict about what technology can do, what technology can't do, because it's really beyond my imaginations today. But I see another opportunity within that, because it says machine learning, right? अब वो मशीन को सिखाएगा कौन? आप और मैं ही सिखाएंगे, राइट? क्योंकि ऐसी कोई मशीन नहीं है जिसके पास ऑलरेडी है वो चीज़. We as humans, professionals, coupled with techies, make them to learn. अगर आपने सुना होगा जब MCA वेबसाइट बना था तो lot of chartered accountant company secretaries were hired and appointed by that vendor who was appointed to do that. Why? Because that intelligence is resting in your brain. So I see that as an opportunity for all the young professionals who are sitting in the room, that while we have the best of the talents heading these organizations who are building up these things, why don't you become that part of that journey as well? So that opens up another area of opportunity for you, that you have that knowledge, you have that expertise, and as company secretaries, I tell you what, the level of laws, number of laws that we learn, and we go through a level of test, no other profession goes across it. In that level of seriousness, I'm telling you frankly. So why we leave those important laws behind wherein other people are building lot of technology? I don't know whether you have gone through Wikipedia. Wikipedia में compliance literature मिलता है आज की डेट में. Go about it and see. And beautiful way. How do you think Wikipedia have got it? Somebody like us must be sitting at the back end. Okay? So be a part of their journey, create something valuable from your brains for everyone. But AI, only thing when I say as a recipient of AI, don't expect too much and don't be threatened. Machine can never threaten a creator. Creator हम ही लोग हैं ना, वो हमें threat नहीं हो सकता unless and until we start perceiving it is a threat. It is an enabler. आज ऑडिटिंग में आई डोंट नो अगर आपने पता हो, जैसे हम लोग सोचते हैं ऑडिटिंग में टूल्स आते हैं कि आप कंपनी का फाइनेंशियल डाटा डाल दीजिए, ग्लोबल डाटा, वो पूरा फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स ग्रुप कंपनीज का इंडेक्स कंप्लायंट बना के देता है विद इन फ्यू मिनट्स ऑफ टाइम. आप सिर्फ फाइनेंशियल डाटा डाल दीजिए. तो इसका मतलब ये थोड़ा ना हो कि ऑडिटर्स का वैल्यू खत्म. अब इंटरनल ऑडिटर एनालिटिक्स के लिए एप्लीकेशंस यूज करते हैं टू प्रिडिक्ट but value is growing. So is in our case as legal professionals. अगर companies case laws में predictions ला रही हैं, compliances में predictions ला रहे हैं, तो it is for your benefit to use your brain, not for drafting the form कि वहाँ DIN number लिखना था उसकी जगह SIN number लिख दिया मैंने, right? But you will really analyze that output for more constructive way, and that is how your client's business should grow. That is the bottom line. Sustainable growth of your client, and if your client having a sustainable and compliant growth, you don't have to tell, you will be growing together. So this is what my philosophy is.
Correct, Gaurav. I do agree with you. Let's open the forum for the question answers from the members present here. Do we have any question answer? May please raise the hands, and we can take up the questions on the AI part is concerned. Yes, please. Mike.
हमारा जो जुडिशियल सिस्टम है, यहाँ से ये पेपर वर्क कब हटेगा? अभी हम कोई पेटिशन फाइल करते हैं या कुछ भी करते हैं, ये मोटे मोटे पेटिशन, एक नहीं कई सारी कॉपियाँ, तो इसके बारे में आपका क्या विचार है?
सर, अब दो चीज़ें होती हैं इसमें. वन इज़ पेपर वर्क. अब फोरम कुछ ऐसा है, मैं मतलब अभी ये बोल सकता हूँ कि इंटेंशन है भी और नहीं भी, जो मुझे लगता है. आई हैव नेवर अपीयर्ड बिफोर एनी जुडिशियल अथॉरिटी. आई एम स्केर्ड ऑफ दैट, लेट मी एडमिट दैट. बट बहुत सिंपल है करना. जैसे ई पेटिशंस फाइल हो सकती हैं, डिजिटल सिग्नेचर से फाइल कर दीजिए सारे पेपर्स, वेरी इजी. बट यू नो द अदर साइड ऑफ द थिंग्स. सो अभी तक थोड़ा ना वहाँ पे भी एक रीज़न ये भी होता है कि जब हम maybe the again acceptability and adoptability is also a challenge, because कुछ लोगों को लगता है नहीं जब तक मैं अपनी बुक में लिख के उसमें लाइन नहीं खींचूंगा ना, तब तक वो यहाँ से उड़ के मेरे दिमाग में नहीं आएगा, राइट?
करेक्ट.
सो इसी तरह से मे बी द अथॉरिटी हु इज यूजिंग कि यार मज़ा नहीं आ रहा जब तक फाइल नहीं बनेगी ना, और वो फाइल कहीं कचरे के डिब्बे में पड़ी भी नहीं होगी, तब तक मज़ा नहीं आने वाला. सो अडॉप्टेबिलिटी एंड एक्सेप्टेबिलिटी की बात है सर. मेरे हिसाब से इंटेंशन तो है, वरना जो विवेक जी अभी इतना बड़ा प्रेजेंटेशन दिया है, आई एम ग्लैड, बट आई एम साइमल्टेनियसली आई एम टेलिंग यू थ्रेटेंड एज अ प्रोफेशनल, बिकॉज दे देम से ऑन देयर पार्ट दे आर गोइंग इन द राइट डायरेक्शन. दे आर इंटीग्रेटिंग द थिंग्स. सपोज कीजिए आप फाइल करने जा रहे हैं पिटीशन किसी कंपाउंडिंग के लिए, अपॉइंटमेंट डायरेक्टर के फॉर्म में डिले हो गया था, और साथ में अपॉइंटमेंट के टाइम पे वो ये कहने लगता है कि भाई एचआर वाले में भी देखा, वहाँ पे तुमने ना शॉप एंड एस्टेब्लिशमेंट में वहाँ पे भी अमेंडमेंट नहीं कराया इस डायरेक्टर के अपॉइंटमेंट का, तो जाओ वहाँ पे भी फाइल करके आओ. आई थिंक दिस इज व्हाट ही वाज सेइंग कि हमारा MOU हुआ है डिपार्टमेंट्स के साथ. सो देयर इज एन अपॉर्चुनिटी, बट क्लाइंट मेरे से कहेगा कि सर आपको तो ये पता होना चाहिए था, अपॉइंटमेंट ऑफ डायरेक्टर तो आपने, वो DIR 11 फाइल होता है, DIR 12 फाइल होता है, आपने ही तो कराया था. सो सर
नहीं सर, होता क्या है ना, जैसे मैं NCLT अपेयर होता हूँ तो मैं ये जानता हूँ कि एक पेटिशन इतना मोटा, इतने एनेक्स्टर, उसकी कॉपी बनानी है, उसको देना है. ये वर्क कब खत्म होगा? मतलब हमारी गवर्नमेंट कब इसके ऊपर ध्यान देगी, कब ये खत्म होगा?
सर आई थिंक यही विवेक जी प्रेजेंट कर रहे थे, एट लीस्ट फ्रॉम द MCA परस्पेक्टिव, व्हाट ही वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट E-Adjudication प्रोसेस. और आई थिंक कुछ स्टेट्स में, कुछ अथॉरिटीज़ में हो भी गया है, राइट? बट ये बहुत टाइम कंज्यूमिंग प्रोसेस है, बिकॉज कहीं ना कहीं कुछ चीज़ों में पेपर वर्क सब्स्टिट्यूट नहीं हो पाता, या इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इश्यूज़ हैं. आई थिंक जैसे कुछ ऑफिस में आप जाएंगे वहाँ प्रिंटर ही नहीं है, या जज साहब ने बोला है कि उनके बिजनेस की वजह से कि मुझे कॉपी लिया, आई वांट टू रीड इट व्हाइल आई एम इन माय चैम्बर.
तो जज साहब तो फिजिकली देखते हैं.
अब उनके पास हो
जज
सकता
साहब
है
तो फिजिकली देखते हैं.
इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर ना हो. मैं वही कह रहा हूँ, इट्स आई थिंक इंपॉर्टेंट ये होता है ना सर, एक जर्नी होती है, ये सब जर्नी है, ये स्टार्ट हुई है ना, तो और धीरे धीरे एक्सेप्टेबिलिटी बढ़ेगी तो होगा. मैंने कुछ सीनियर्स को भी कहते हैं, या सीनियर्स नहीं मतलब मेंबर्स को, प्रोफेशनल्स को भी कहते सुना है, यार जब तक क्लाइंट से 200 पेपर साइन नहीं कराऊंगा ना, पैसे नहीं देगा. डेटा सिग्नेचर तो मुझे ही लगाने हैं.
सही बात.
उसे क्या पता है मैंने 200 पेपर्स पे लगा दिए या 300 पेपर पे लगा दिए.
वॉल्यूम दिखाना काम का.
उसे वॉल्यूम भी तो दिखाना है.
नहीं, मैं आपको एक छोटा सी बात बता रहा हूँ सर, यहाँ सभी जानते भी होंगे, कैलकाटा हाई कोर्ट की बात बता रहा हूँ. यहाँ एपिलेट साइड में डेली 500 पेजेस की कॉज लिस्ट निकलती है. 500 पेजेस, 500 पेजेस डेली प्रिंट होती है, और डेली सबके पास जाती है. कितना वेस्टेज है ये, नेशनल एसेट का वेस्टेज है ये, दिस इज वेस्टेज ऑफ नेशनल एसेट। कितने पेपर वेस्ट हो रहे हैं, 500 पेजेस की कॉज लिस्ट डेली निकलती है लिस्ट, और केस कितने सुने जाते हैं, 200-300 केसेस सुने जाते हैं मैक्सिमम। हाँ हाँ ओके नहीं ये यहाँ आज के लिए भी वैलिड है क्वेश्चन, क्योंकि हम digital बात कर रहे हैं।
Sir, any further questions, please? Last one from the gentleman.
Good evening, sir. The corporate law jurisprudence is totally dynamic. It keeps changing every day. So when you're talking about artificial intelligence in a structured model where you put place an input and output mapping, how far do you think is the input-output mapping sustainable? Like in a dynamic corporate law changing jurisprudence, because something new comes, you again have to put forward a new model. You again have to put forward a test data. And the following part of the question is, how far do you think that the result data will be satisfying to you? Because no AI output is 100% correct. True. So what will be your answer to that?
If I can go, yeah. I think artificial intelligence uses predictive analysis.
True.
And that is where this will definitely be of help. Only thing we will have to see as new trends or new laws or new interpretations keep coming, probably that is where the machine will start to learn. And that is where the learning doesn't stop for machine as well. So machine always learns a new pattern or a new behavior or new answer or new response or new decision from the court. That in this case, in maternity, I'll just give you an example. A woman needs to be an employee for certain months before she claims the maternity benefit. Now, even a woman who worked on part-time basis and therefore could not complete certain months, court has given decision to her benefit. That is a past case I'm referring to. Now, if machine learning learns this experience that even part-time is considered counted for the purpose of granting benefit, it will adapt. And then next time probably it will learn and share that experience or outcome. So input and output to your first question, I think it's doable to a larger extent. But in terms of amendments or new things coming in, I think machine will also need to learn over a period of time. Only thing, machine will learn much faster than humans learn and take time to implement. So machine learns and quickly implements. That is the advantage. So I think the time factor will be much faster here.
I just want to add something for you. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Sure.
So I think I'm glad that you understand that there are certain processes, or I would say certain nitty-gritties behind analytics, and even machine can be wrong. Okay? True. I'm glad. Wherein the expectation is something from the machine is that it's something a miracle. कि अब मशीन के हवाले कर दिया वतन साथियों, अब तो सब कुछ ठीक निकलेगा. Unfortunately, we are not making a product. We are talking about interpretation of the law. Intentions, case laws में intentions होता है, ठीक है? उसमें क्या होता है कि आपको एक support मिल जाता है. Technology is an enabler, not the final decision maker, ठीक है? And again, as Kiran said, it's a learning curve for every technology things. When I say AI, right? तो टेस्टिंग होता है कि कहाँ गलती हुआ है, एंड इट कम टू नो फ्रॉम द पीपल लाइक यू कि जब आप लिखते हैं ना फीडबैक में दिस इज एरर, सिमिलरली देयर आर पीपल सिटिंग एट द बैक एंड हु इज सपोर्टिंग दैट एंटायर प्रोसेस विद द टेक्नोलॉजी पीपल. दिस इज हाउ द मशीन लर्निंग इज बीइंग डन.
So you're hinting that first we need to build a very credible and foundation base for the model, and after that, as a machine starts learning by itself.
Exactly. So it's like a process. जैसे हम बच्चे को पढ़ाते हैं ना, ये A है, ये B है, ठीक है? B से बाबा होता है, B से बॉल होता है. इसी तरह से मशीन्स को हम कुछ डाटा देते हैं, ओके? वो डाटा रन करता है, बार बार रीड करता है, उसमें से कुछ आंसर्स देता है. आप जैसे प्रोफेशनल वहाँ बैठे होते हैं, ये टिक है, ये गलत है, ये सही है, वो उनको बता रहा होता है बैकएंड से बैठ के, ओके? और मैं इसलिए बता रहा हूँ क्योंकि हम खुद ऐसा कुछ प्रोसेस कर रहे हैं, ठीक है? तो वो आउटपुट टेस्ट होता है, ठीक है? और वो एक अगेन एज ए सेड ना, अब जैसे लॉ में ही देख लेते हैं हम, आप किसी एक एक्ट में कितने सारे तरह के क्वेश्चंस पूछ सकते हो. फॉर्म क्या है, पेनल्टी क्या है, रिटर्न क्या है. पैन को कोई पैन कहता है, कोई परमानेंट अकाउंट नंबर कहता है, कोई जीएसटी कहता है. अब जीएसटी स्टेट वाइज है तो एचजीएसटी बोल देंगे या हरियाणा जीएसटी बोल देंगे. अंडरस्टैंड इट? सो सिस्टम को हमें खुद बताना होता है कि बॉस अगर वो जीएसटी पूछता है ना, तो यूजर से ये पूछ लो विच स्टेट. स्टेट इज एन इम्पॉर्टेंट एलिमेंट बिकॉज दिस इज अ स्टेट लॉ. तो वो एलिमेंट्स दिए जाते हैं. सो वो कॉम्प्लेक्स है, बट ये लर्निंग आप और हम ही बोल देते हैं. तभी मैं बोलता हूँ बी अ पार्ट ऑफ दैट जर्नी. because there is a huge opportunity in that.
Okay, thank you, sir. And Kiran, sir, to follow up with the question, you said that the machines keep learning by themselves. So you're hinting at somewhere around the future, we'll be looking at unstructured learning as a part of AI in corporate governance as well, right?
Yes, of course. Meaning, if that is what we expect us to do in our profession, and as well as even other professions or industries already using it. So today you take transportation, pharmaceutical, military. There are so many applications where artificial intelligence is already applied. How do we see electric cars and automated cars? It's all artificial intelligence somewhere in some degree and manner. So that is what is already being deployed. So likewise in governance, let's say as what he was referring, or the earlier panelist was referring here, in terms of the changes to the MCA, the government is trying to pull data. Even today, income tax, they have automated it to an extent where they are trying to, earlier, in the physical world, the income tax officer has certain, rights to pull certain percentage of returns out of the number of returns filed in his area. And then he used to do it physically, just, by saying on sample basis, pull out this return, something like that, or some data. Or manually must be collating how much above certain level of income, pull those returns for my scrutiny. Now this is all done automated. Now when the return, there is already information fed into it. If my income tax pattern says, well, last 10 years, I have been earning income from salary, this year there is a sudden hike, either there was a capital gain or something has gone differently, then the system will automatically pick up. Now system may not even be able to catch hold of me, or find something fishy if there was a genuine transaction of sale of a flat. And therefore my capital gains were there and income was much higher. There was nothing necessarily I had done fraudulent or evaded taxes this year, but system thought this was something wrong, some abnormal behavior, pick up Kiran's return this time. But that doesn't mean I was wrong, or I had defrauded tax department. Not necessary. So machine learned it again next time.
So in fact, sorry Praveen again, I think most of us heard about ESG concept.
Yes.
Right? Environment, social security and governance. And as if now it's voluntary, right? Now, if you read any reports, and do you know why all the big firms, global big firms, have given a voluntary disclosure around it? Because most of the investors have said we will not invest a company which is not ESG compliant.
Yes.
Now, in ESG, you have two parts of it. One is compliance, statutory compliance. Other is the impact of that ESG activities which a company is doing. That means in impact, there is always some numbers.
Yes.
Right? Now, governance is part of ESG.
Yes.
That means there are already a process started to quantify the impact of governance. Right? So, guys, be ready. And there lies the opportunity. That's what you have your governance thing, you put up your data into it, they will tell you what is coming out of it, like any other thing. कितनी एनर्जी सेव करी, गवर्नेंस में आपकी ये प्रेडिक्टेबिलिटीज है. एचआर में तो ऑलरेडी होता है ना परफॉर्मेंस एनालिटिक्स पे, कि कितनी ट्रेनिंग्स अटेंड करी है, कितने प्रमोशंस हुए हैं, कैसा इनका परफॉर्मेंस रहा है फाइनेंशियल अदरवाइज, एंड दे प्रिडिक्ट योर अबाउट यू. ये गवर्नेंस में रेडी हो रहा है. ऑलरेडी बिगीज हैव अनाउंस्ड अराउंड इट. दे इन्वेस्टिंग हेविली. This is the trend.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Gaurav. I think we have come out with the time when we need to conclude, because though we are running a bit behind the schedule, not big, but yes, we are. So we need to conclude. Friends, the AI is an open subject, and it's whatever level the AI can be there, as we know that it's the man only who can interpret the final thing. And I, as a person, can only understand if I'm calling Aishwarya, it's Mr. Aishwarya or Miss Aishwarya. So that computer cannot know. So that, because man has made the machine is not the man yet. Though robots are there, but they are not so successful as far as the man is concerned. So it's on us how we feed the computer, how we prepare the AI, and to what extent they can serve to the institute and serve to the human being and the professional life. So with this note, friends, I declare the conclusion of this session. My sincere thanks on behalf of the institute to all, on behalf of the institute, to my both of the colleagues, Gaurav and Kiran, for being there from so far distance and enlightening to the members with your knowledge and wisdoms. And I believe we all had a good discussion here, and members are going to get benefit out of that. Thank you so much. Over to you, Mitch.
Thank you, panelists, for this thought-provoking session. I request CS Kushal Baghera ji, Chairman Northeast Chapter, to kindly come on the dais and present vote of thanks and present Shahid Ki Beti certificate to Shri Gaurav Jain ji. I request CS Pooja Kasera, Chairperson Patna Chapter, to please come on the dais and present Shahid Ki Beti certificate to CS Kiran Chitale ji. I thank all the panelists. I request all the participants to be present here for the cultural evening. We'll be shortly starting the cultural evening.